Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. This week's tip is I watch a lot of you guys collecting notes. Some of you are doing it for the first time, some of you are just getting into it. And I see people handling notes and they're banging them around and they're doing one of these and they're showing how everything is and they're being so forceful. If you're holding a note like this and you're showing it on camera, when you've got it bent and crisp, I just creased this one right here. So hold these notes like they're actually made of gold. Please don't be doing this with your notes. I can't stand it when I see people that are like, "Oh, let's see what this is here. Oh, look at the paper quality of this." Oh, well, and then you just destroyed the note. So hold these notes a little gingerly, at least for me when you're on camera. When you're off camera, then you can wave it around, do whatever you want. But if you want the note to hold any value, please hold them a little more delicately. All right, there's my $1,000 in singles. Let's get them out of the way. Let's take a look at what I found this week. As you can see, the note that I was demonstrating on was just a note that I found that had a stamp on it. What's this one say? Resist big money in politics. Yeah, I agree. Big money is no place in politics. When I see a stamp like that, I always pull out all the interesting stamps just to see what they say. Found two of them. Must be getting close to the election. If you find this, let me know. And stamp money out of politics. Couldn't agree more. We should do it the way they used to do it. The only way that politicians got money to run ads is if anybody contributed $1 on their tax return. And that was the money they used. Now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, which just kind of makes me sick. All right. What do I find this week? I found this one here is everything. First of all, it's a trinary, 4s, 9s, and 7s. Secondly, it's quads. You've got quad 4s on the end. There's 6 of a kind because it's 4, 9, 4, 7, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. And the other thing that this note is an alternator. You've got 49, 47, 44, 44. So you have 4s every other number. So this has got all kinds of neat little reasons to like this particular bill. So I decided I was pulling that one for sure. Speaking of alternators, here's one that has 7 as the alternator. 72, 73, 74, 74. Would have really liked to have had the next one to have that 75, 72, 73, 74, 75. But 7 is the alternator nonetheless. Another trinary here. This is 2s, 3s, and 5s. And this one is 0s, 2s, and 5s. Really crisp bill. Hopefully I can find a match for that one. 2s, 8s, and 6s on this one. It's got 5 8s on there as well. This one is 0s, 4s, and 7s. So lots of trinaries this week. This one I thought was going to be a really cool one. Nope, just a trinary. 4s, 7s, and 8s. Looking at it, you see the 8 7. You see 8 7, 8 7, 8. I thought, oh, how close was that to something neat? But still a trinary, so I will keep it. This particular one is all 0s, 2s, and 4s. What do we have here? 2s, 3s, and 7s on this note. Really crisp. 1s, 2s, and 8s, and it's got the quad 8s together. I like that. Quad 3s on this particular note. Quad 4s here. Now, once again, I collect trinaries and quads, hoping that I can find two notes with the same serial number. It's much easier just to save those than it is to save every note I ever searched, because to find the pair for one note, to have an exact serial number, two notes with the exact same serial number, you're talking 1 in 96 million. That's a lot. But if you're doing quads, well, now you're talking 1 in 10,000. If you only look at 10,000 quads, you'll find a note that would be the same. For instance, 3555. Well, half the digits here are quad 5s, which means I only have to deal with the other digits here. If they were all 0000 and then you went through every other number possible, you'd end up getting to 9999, which would make 10,000 different notes. So yeah, that's why I collect quads, and that's why I collect trinaries. It just reduces the number of notes I have to keep in order to find notes with pairs. This one's quad 6s as well. Quad 6s on this one. And we get to my stars. Starting with a couple zeros, 2017. I got high hopes for that one. Another 2017 here. Found quite a few of the stars. 2013, a little bit rough. Lower number. We'll see what happens with that one. 2013, and this one starts the old notes. 1999. Another 99 here. Not quite as nice. That one's nice. Look at how bright the paper is on that one. Does have a center crease, but really bright paper on that note. 1999, showing its age a little more. Another 99. It's interesting comparing the two because this one ends in a U, which means they went through all of these numbers with A, reset it to B, to C. They got it to U. That's how many times they went through these. Whereas this particular note still has A. So this was, and it starts at zeros. So this was one of the early notes that they produced, and this was one of the last notes that they produced. Another 1999. This one's in decent shape. This one is really nice, and it's a 1995. 1995 I. Hopefully it'll fill a hole. Another 1995 here. 1988A. So we're looking. Nope, not a web note. It's got an A there. If it had nothing but one of those small little digits, then we'd know it was a web note. Another 1985. This is, 1985. That's fairly crisp for an 85. And the oldest note in the group, this one is also exceptionally crisp. This is a 1981. Oldest note in the group, really nice find there. So I had lots of cool stuff in this particular group. So what did I pull out this week? Well, this week I brought out one of the small size, I say small size, one of the regular size national currency notes. This is from the First Wisconsin National Bank of Milwaukee. National currency, national bank note, those terms are pretty much interchangeable. What a national bank note is when a bank wanted to basically tell the public, hey, we are a good place for you to have your money, what they would do is the Treasury would come out and they would make sure that the bank was soluble. They'd make sure that the bank had enough money to cover all its debts, they had money to lend, and that they were a safe place for you to put their money. They would be then given a charter number, and by being a chartered bank, they would get the title as a national bank. So if you were a bank in a town and you were the first bank to get that national designation, that meant something. That meant that if there's 10 banks in town, you not only are a national bank, but you were the first national bank. And that's exactly where that term comes from. The first national bank of whatever city. This particular one, National Bank of Milwaukee. First Wisconsin National Bank of Milwaukee. Now, over the course of the years, they started doing this in 1863. The first charter was a 20-year period starting in 1863. Then the second charter came out for another 20 years. Then you came out with a third charter. And halfway through the third charter is when we actually switched the size of the banknotes. I'll just flip this one over real quick so you can see the back. It's just your standard $5 back. Now, when we switched the size, they did have to redo the notes, but the charters were still good. Now, if you look, you can see this one does have a serial number like you'd be used to seeing, but instead of having a green serial number and a green seal, they use a brown seal that identifies it as the national currency note. But the charter number of the bank itself is right here. This one is number 64. It's got it on both sides here, 64, 64. Now, like I said, there were over 15,000 bank charters issued. So for this one to have a number so low, number 64, that is an extremely low number as far as the national charters go. I believe the first charter was given to a bank in New York. I could be wrong. I don't recall off the top of my head, but that's what stands out to me. Now, national banknotes are interesting to collect because first and foremost, you can't collect them all. You just can't do it. But secondly, there's probably a national banknote for your town. And there's nothing cooler than finding a banknote with your town's name on it, especially when you don't live in one of the 12 cities that the Federal Reserve banks are in. So yeah, if you live in Milwaukee, here is a banknote from Milwaukee. Virtually every town is going to have some type of national banknote. Now, let me just bust out the book real quick here. And we will see national banknotes right there, national banknotes. Now, there are two types. The top one is the note that I have. It's just like that. That particular one says Winslow, Arizona. But the bottom one is called a Type 2 note. Now you'll notice just to the right of Lincoln's head, it says 7346. That's the charter number as well, and that's how you can tell the different types. The charter number would be just to the right of Lincoln's head as well as left and right on the bill, whereas on the top one, it doesn't have it there. Now, the first type, if I recall, we will just check out the book, on Type 1, which was issued from July 1929 to May 1933. That's the first type, and Type 2 was from 1933 to 1935. So those are the years that you're going to find the two types. As far as pricing goes, there's your generic list starting at about $65 on that $5 bill. But based on the particular state and based on the individual city, all of that can change as far as the prices go. I mean, look at the stuff from Wyoming, $700 on those, just because there weren't a whole lot of those produced. Now, generally speaking, when you're talking national banknotes, the smaller the town and the further west the town, the more expensive the notes are going to be. That's your standard way to figure out price. You start with your basic price and then think of those two considerations. There is so much more to learn as far as national banknotes go. I could probably do an entire video trying to pinpoint all the little things, and even I don't know I am not the most knowledgeable person on national banknotes. But that is my 1929 National Bank of Milwaukee national banknote or national currency. If you guys learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment down below if you think these are cool videos. I like doing them. I like sharing my stuff with everybody. If you guys learn a little bit, great. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again next week.